Imagine turning $50,000 into $100,000 or even $200,000 and having to pay nothing in the way of federal taxes when you take that money out. It's possible if you understand how to leverage Roth accounts and give your money time to grow. Today, I'll walk you through the 10-year Roth Growth Hack, why Roth accounts are so powerful, how tax-free compounding works, and strategies you can use to maximize growth before you ever even touch the money. And before we dive in, my name is Ryan Knoll. I'm a certified financial planner and founder of NAV Wealth Partners, a financial planning firm that helps clients nationwide make smart money decisions. Let's jump into the video. So what makes Roth accounts so different? Well, most retirement accounts, there's a trade-off. You either pay taxes up front or you pay taxes at the tail end when you distribute the money in retirement. So with a traditional IRA or 401k, you get a deduction today, but as that money grows and then is distributed in retirement, you will pay taxes on those distributions. And when required minimum distributions kick in, the IRS will force you to take even more money out of this account, whether you need it or not. These required distributions can often push retirees into the highest tax brackets, even higher than what they were paying them during their working years. And it's not uncommon for someone who retired at 62 with a $1 million IRA to have that same IRA grow to $3 or $4 million by the time they're forced to start taking distributions at 73 or 75. And as they grow older and that account continues to grow with them, they'll be forced to take out hundreds of thousands of dollars each year. This will potentially force their Social Security to be taxed at a higher rate, subjects them to IRMAA surcharges, and the extra taxable income could throw off their capital gains brackets, causing more taxes on their non-qualified fund distributions as well. Roth accounts will flip that script though. You pay taxes now on your contributions. All the growth is tax-free. There are no required minimum distributions during your lifetime, and whenever you decide to take that money out, you pay nothing in the way of ordinary income tax on that. This makes Roth accounts one of the most powerful tools for long-term compounding and multi-generational planning. They give you the same growth opportunity, but much more flexibility from the tax perspective. So let's talk about how the 10-year Roth IRA growth hack works. And let's put some math behind this example. Let's say you convert or contribute $50,000 to a Roth IRA. And obviously, if you're contributing, this is happening over a series of years based off of your age and the contribution limits. And let's assume that after that 50 grand's in there, there's 10 years where you're going to invest this money and you earn a 7% annual rate of return over that same period, which is a reasonable projection based off of long-term stock market performance. By year 10, that $50,000 will have grown to roughly $98,000 or double the initial investment. But here's where it gets really exciting. Because it's under the Roth IRA structure, all of that money can then be distributed to you in retirement tax-free. If you compare that to investing in a taxable brokerage account where capital gains, dividends, and rebalancing could easily shave off 15 to 20% of the value over the same time, you're coming out much further ahead. And here's the kicker. If you leave that money then invested for another 10 years, that roughly $100,000 at that point then grows to almost $200,000. So the biggest advantage to using Roth accounts is time. Every year your money compounds without the drag of taxes, the growth curve will accelerate. If you wait until your late 60s or 70s to start Roth conversions, you're going to lose years, sometimes decades of compounding. And with RMDs starting at age 73 or 75, the IRS is forcing many retirees into higher tax brackets just when they thought their taxes would go down. By shifting money into a Roth before required minimum distribution age, you're not only growing tax-free, but you could also reduce your future taxable income. You also gain more flexibility each year with your distributions. By pairing a sound strategy with taxable, traditional, and Roth accounts, you can minimize or completely eliminate tax distributions annually. The biggest key here is starting early, and here's how you're going to execute this. For most people, the 10-year Roth growth hack happens through Roth conversions, moving money from your traditional IRA or 401k into a Roth IRA. And when you convert, you're going to pay income taxes that year on the converted amount. Future growth is then tax-free, and you eliminate required minimum distributions on that portion of your funds forever. But timing matters a lot here. The best window for many is the gap years, after you retire, but before you collect your Social Security and before your required minimum distributions start. That's when your taxable income is often the lowest, making it cheaper to convert more strategically into a Roth. Working with a planner who can coordinate these withdrawals among the different ordinary income tax brackets and capital gains brackets, all while avoiding IRMAA surcharges on Medicare premiums, can help you pay as little as possible in taxes, sometimes even nothing. And this is exactly what we do here at NAV Wealth Partners with our clients every day. We bring in clients who have 7 or 8 figure portfolios and help them manage their tax liability as low as possible without any tricks or silver bullets. We simply just use the tax code to our advantage. Now, while all this sounds good, I do want you to avoid some of the common pitfalls that I see here so they don't impact you. Things like higher Medicare premiums due to IRMAA thresholds, unnecessary bracket creep if you convert too much in 1 year, and unintended taxation of your Social Security benefits. This is why we build a multi-year Roth conversion plan for clients, spreading conversions over several years to stay in optimal tax brackets. For example, instead of converting $150,000 all in 1 year at the 32% bracket, you might convert $50,000 per year over a 3-year period to stay in the 22% tax bracket, which would save you thousands of dollars in taxes over time. Or we might delay Social Security by a year or two, increasing your benefit there and allowing us to convert more money before you start collecting at a lower tax rate. One of the most often overlooked benefits, I would argue perhaps the biggest benefit of Roth accounts, is that they're incredible legacy planning tools. Under the 10-year rule from the Secure Act, non-spouse beneficiaries of inherited IRAs must withdraw the full balance over a 10-year period of time. For traditional IRAs, that means taxable withdrawals on top of your kids' regular income, often forcing them into higher tax brackets once these distributions start. But an inherited Roth IRA, those same withdrawals are tax-free. So your heirs can leave your Roth IRA invested for another 10 years after your passing. And assuming we're in that same 7% rate of return we talked about earlier, that money will roughly double over that same 10-year period. And then when they distribute it, they will have twice as much to take out tax-free. The 10-year Roth Growth Hack doesn't just benefit you, it can save your heirs tens of thousands of dollars annually on taxes. So let's look at an example here, and we're going to compare two retirees, Lisa and Mark. Lisa leaves $50,000 in her traditional IRA, and Mark converts $50,000 from his traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. Let's assume they both earn 7% rate of return over a 10-year period of time. Lisa and Mark's account will both grow to $98,000, assuming a rate of return of 7%. The difference here, though, is Lisa's distributions are then taxable, whereas Mark's aren't. If Lisa's in the 24% tax bracket, she'll pay roughly $23,000 in federal income tax on that distribution. Mark, again, will pay nothing. Now, Mark did pay taxes on that conversion, so there's no free lunch here. But if he was able to pay them at lower tax rates, say at the 12% or the 22% bracket, that's where he's going to make out in this deal. A lot of this is just about timing and flexibility, which I would argue matters more in retirement planning, and understanding where you currently are in the tax brackets and where you will be as you age. This allows you to maximize your results. So in the example above, if Mark only paid taxes of 22% when he converted, he is roughly $2,000 better off than Lisa every year the same exact transaction happens. Over a 30-year retirement, that's nearly $60,000 in tax savings, which is about a dozen trips to his favorite beach or a brand new car or two during his retirement. So who should consider this hack? And I'll admit the strategy isn't for everyone. It works best if you have a long runway before you need the money, expect to be in a similar or higher tax bracket later on, and can pay the conversion taxes without touching the account. Or you want to leave a tax-free legacy to your heirs. If you're already in your peak earning years or strapped for cash, a full conversion might not make sense, but partial conversions still could. So here's how you'll start this strategy. First, you're going to map out your tax brackets for the next 10 plus years. You're going to run Roth conversion scenarios to identify a sweet spot. You're going to prioritize high growth assets inside of your Roth for maximum compounding. And you're going to use your brokerage accounts or other funds to pay conversion taxes. Finally, you want to revisit this plan annually. Tax laws change, and so should your strategy. So this hack isn't about beating the market. It's about beating the IRS. By converting strategically, compounding tax-free, and planning ahead, you can turn modest savings into a huge tax-free pool of money and potentially create generational wealth. If you want more help designing a personalized Roth conversion roadmap, that's what we do every day here at NavWealth Partners. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, make smart money decisions.